So I thought the comparisons of prismatic evolutions to evolving skies was a meme, just like people that compared surging sparks to vivid voltage. Like I never took any of these takes seriously because it just made no sense, and I really thought this whole comparison to evolving skies, I thought it was gonna die off, and it sort of did, but it seems like the closer we get to the release of prismatic evolutions, especially now that we've seen the Japanese side, Terrestrial Festival, we've seen those cards, people are the closer we get to the release date, people are getting more hyped up, and it seems like people are really starting to believe this really is the evolving skies of Scarlet and Violet. Well, I'm here to give you my opinion, and I think you're crazy. If you really think, Prismatic Evolutions is even close to Evolving Skies, I can't take you serious. Because think about it this way: you are comparing a specialty set with no booster boxes to a main set with booster boxes. Just that alone, the comparison makes no sense. It doesn't matter that both EV sets, it doesn't matter. You're comparing two completely different types of sets. And you might be like, why does that matter? Vapor Self, why does it matter one's a specialty set? Why does it matter one's a main set? Who cares? They're both evolutions, they're both hyped up. It's the same thing. If you look at the growth of booster boxes, which are now about $1,000, there's only a couple listings for under 1,000. I checked, and then the rest are all $1,000. So this is basically $1,000 booster box. You could have got these at release for $100, so it's 10x. Elite Trainer boxes right now are selling for $200. You could have got them at retail for $40, so it's 5x. The growth rate of booster boxes are not the same as the growth rate of Elite Trainer boxes. It's not the same. And then you're going to make the argument that since this is a specialty set and there are no booster boxes, the Elite Trainer boxes are going to go crazy. Honestly, I can see the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes going crazy. I can see that. But for normal Elite Trainer boxes, no, this is not going to be Evolving Skies level growth. We're going to see a 10x in a few years. Can it happen? I can't predict the future, sure. Like, maybe you can make that guess. But in a realistic person, like, the comparison makes no sense. You can't compare an Elite Trainer box to a booster box. It just doesn't make any sense. So the fact that, you're comparing a main set, Evolving Skies with a booster box, to a Elite Trainer box, the comparison makes no sense already, like I said. But let's say you just want to compare artworks. Let's pretend they're both just main sets, right? Even still, I know this is all opinionated, but I feel like the artworks in, Evolving Skies are way better than Prismatic Evolutions. Now, I know this is an opinion, but let me explain why. So, I've always had a problem sort of with a lot of Scarlet and Violet sets and their just artworks. Like the SARs, it seems like the change from alternate arts from SARs to me, it's been hard for me because I've always just like Sword and Shield alternate arts because the alternate arts are so much cleaner than a lot of the special illustration areas. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So when you look at these alternate arts from Evolving Skies, you can see how natural, it just looks clean. There's not a bunch of clutter on the card. It's very just artistic. You can see just how clean the artworks are and how just intricate. Like, these artworks are clean. It's not a bunch of just colors splattered around everywhere. Like, there's intricacies into, these alternate arts. When you look at all these, like, it's so clean. The artworks are not forced. And that's sort of the problem I sort of, see with Prismatic Evolutions, which I don't understand the comparison to Evolving Skies. Because when you really look at these alternate arts, and then you look at Prismatic Evolutions, the artworks are so different. And I know it's opinionated. I understand. But when you look at these artworks, and I'm not saying they're bad, they're just different. When you just look, you can just look at, the evolutions, but just overall. When you look at these artworks, and you compare them to alternate arts from Sword and Shield, it's very hard to do that. Because they're just the art style in this era, like, is very different, especially with Prismatic. The evolutions, when you compare these, like, look at this. When you compare this to this Glaceon, like, is there even a need to compare it? And even, like, seriously, the artworks are so different, and this is why Evolving Skies, I don't know if we're ever going to see another Evolving Skies. And especially with Prismatic, like, these SARs, like, I think they're going to still do good. It's an evolution set. I'm not saying it's going to do bad, but the comparison to Evolving Skies, it needs to stop. They are not close whatsoever. And I know, like I said, this is all opinionated. This comes from my opinion. But when you look at this and you look, at these artworks, it's like, it's so different. And that's where, like, I'm having a hard time like understanding people that really make this comparison. Like then people are gonna say, how about the master balls and stuff? No, that's not. I mean, yeah, those are gonna probably perform pretty well if they're super rare, but artwork wise, like long term, like just evolving skies, it's so different than prismatic, and it's so much cleaner. Like I don't know about you guys, but I've seriously had trouble just looking at a lot of these and being like, yeah, this looks really nice. Like I look at the alternate arts, just any alternate arts, not even talking about just evolving skies. Like we look at alternate arts, from other sets. Like you look at alternate arts from Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike. Like they're just so clean. There's not just a bunch of colors, and I know there's also people. I don't know what it is. I've commented it on one of my videos, but people seem to have just forgotten about the crown thing. Like I thought people hated crowns. Like it seems like nobody is talking about hating crowns anymore because prismatic evolutions, like the prices are crazy. Like all of a sudden nobody wants to talk about it anymore. But I remember when this set first, the cards got leaked, people were like, "Oh, it's another crown set. I hate it." But where's the hate now? Is it because it's expensive that you're not hating on it anymore? Like honestly, I've never been a hater of the crowns. Like I thought it was always just all right, but there was a huge amount of people that hated it. So where are the people that hated it? And that's, I guess, another comparison is that, if you are a hater of the crowns, like the comparison to Evolving Skies also doesn't make any sense because Evolving Skies doesn't have any crowns. Like none of these, cards have crowns. So just the whole comparison to Evolving Skies, it's just so outrageous. Like you cannot tell me that these are on the same tier as like these. It's just not there. And also the value of Evolving Skies. These card prices, I don't think that these SIRs are gonna really get, maybe at release they're gonna get to this level, but I think overall, after a few years, I don't think Prismatic Evolutions, SIRs, even the Evolutions are gonna hold up the same value as Evolving Skies. I don't know what the pull rates are gonna be, and that's another factor that I've talked about before in my videos talking about Prismatic Evolutions. We don't know the pull rates. You can speculate, say that's gonna be super hard, but we don't know. These are all SIRs. I've explained this before. So for me to really think that the SIR pull rates are going to be just as hard as some other sets, I don't really believe it. I feel like, in my opinion, it's not going to be as hard because I just don't see it being a specialty set, not having illustration rares. It just doesn't make sense to me that they make them really hard to pull. So just in my opinion, like these aren't going to be as valuable. The artworks are totally different. The comparison needs to stop. It's seriously a meme, but I've been hearing it more and more the closer we get to release day. And like I said, it's gonna be interesting to really see how Prismatic Evolutions plays out and how the prices go with everything. But to say that this is the next Evolving Skies, it's honestly laughable. It makes no sense. And I do want to compare one last thing. It's not really related to Evolving Skies, but one reason why I'm pretty, bullish on Surging Sparks. And I know you guys are probably tired of me talking about Surging Sparks, and I know I'm kind of talking about it in this video, mixing things up, but I haven't, I think Prismatic, just because it's an evolution set, it's going to perform well in the future, right? But I've been pretty bullish on Surging Sparks more than, Prismatic Evolutions, at least, me not being able to get some, Prismatic Evolutions, like normally trainer boxes for retail. I haven't been that upset because I was able to get a ton of Surging Sparks booster boxes for a really good price. And the difference between Surging Sparks and Prismatic Evolutions, one, Surging Sparks is a main set with booster boxes, Prismatic isn't. But other than that, the difference I see with Surging Sparks is that the artworks aren't, like, it's not splattered artwork like these cards are. You see all of these, it's a lot of splattered, like, artwork. Like some of these are pretty cool, but a lot of it is just kind of, it feels cluttered. And then when you look at Surging Sparks, like yes, this is pretty simple and people still say it's overvalued, but when you look at these artworks like the Latios, the Milotic, and even the Executor, and these, like this is kind of, I guess, the same, level as some of the, prismatic artworks, but the artworks in this set, there's a lot more cleaner artworks that aren't completely just splattered like colors everywhere like some of these. Like it's cleaner. There's cleaner artworks. It's not overdone. They're just pretty clean and simple. And that's why I believe Surging Sparks is one of the best, or pretty much is the best set or just main set we've seen so far, because there's not this splattered crazy amounts of artwork in one card. Like it's clean. So I know it's a bit, I guess, of a a turn from talking about Prismatic Evolutions to Evolving Skies, but that's one reason why I also am pretty bullish still on Surging Sparks, even though everyone is saying that this is going to die off when, Prismatic Evolutions gets released. I don't really think it's going to die off. Maybe we'll see some pullback, maybe, but with the prices of Prismatic Evolutions, I don't know. Maybe I don't even know if that's going to happen, to be honest. Depending on how high these go, I don't know what the price is going to be. To say that Surging Sparks is going to completely die off, I don't really agree with, because I mean, Elite Trainer Box is already double price. So I don't know. This whole situation is crazy, but I wanted to talk about this again. I guess people comparing sets from Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet. None of them make sense. It's all a meme, and yeah, it's pretty laughable. But yeah, let's end this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this comparison. I think it's crazy, but let me know if you actually think that it makes sense, because it doesn't make sense at all to me.